Today we are going over 2.4 multiplying rational numbers. Essential question: why is the product of two negative rational numbers positive? And then your question on the left-hand margin of what are your multiplication rules? Why is the product of two negative rational numbers positive? Well, we're going to start talking about our rules for multiplying integers. And essentially, when you are multiplying two numbers that are the same sign, you're going to get a positive. So if I look here, if I multiply two positive integers, I get a positive product. If I multiply two negative integers, I get positive. So the same signs will give me a positive. When I multiply different signs, two numbers or more that are different signs, or let's just stick with two numbers for now, I will get a negative product. So same signs, positive, different signs, negative. Now, this is only going to work for two, right, numbers. As you add more numbers to it, you're going to have to be careful when you are multiplying. But right now, we are only looking at two numbers. Now, this right here should be a 2, so that's a mistake. But what are the steps to multiplying fractions? Well, I want to take a look at fractions. So when if I have a next number, we're going to try changing those to improper fractions. And when you're multiplying fractions, you can multiply straight across, meaning you can multiply the numerator multiplied by the numerator. The denominator can be multiplied by the denominator. And then we can simplify. Again, this should be a 2. So let's look at some examples here. Starting off with multiplying a fraction by a fraction. So I have two fractions here and same right here. So we're going to go ahead and follow our steps. There is no improper fraction, so we can go ahead and skip that one. And we can go ahead and multiply straight across. So if I multiply straight across, 3 multiplied by 4 gives me 12. And 4 multiplied by 5 gives me 20. Now, this is not in simplest form. So if I wanted to reduce this, I can find the GCF of both of these. Or you can just start with the common factor. They're both even, so I know I could divide them both by 2. So you can cut them in half. Or I know that the GCF of both of those is 4. So I can divide them by 4. 12 divided by 4 is going to give me 3 over 20 divided by 4 gives me 5. And this one is in simplest form. So your answer would be 3/5. Now, to make it easier on you later on so that you don't have to simplify it, we can see if you can cross cancel by looking diagonally. So I see 3 and 5 do not have any factors together, so they're going to stay the same or in common, any factors in common. Whereas 2 and 4 do. These can both be divided by 4. So 4 divided by 4 gives you 1. 4 divided by 4 gives you 1. And now I can go ahead and just multiply straight across. So 3 multiplied by 1 gives you 3. 1 multiplied by 5 gives you 5. So I personally think it's easier to check, right, diagonally to see if anything will cross cancel. If your numbers that are diagonal from each other have any factors, so that you can just cancel them out and simplify them on the spot, as opposed to multiplying and then simplifying them. So that's what I'm going to do over here. Now, first, let's look at our two numbers. I have two negatives, right? Meaning I'm going to multiply two fractions that are the same sign. which will give you a positive answer. Remember, a negative multiplied by negative gives you a positive. I'm going to check diagonally. 1 and 3 do not have any factors, whereas 2 and 4 do. Their GCF is actually 2. So 2 divided by 2 is going to give me 1. 4 divided by 2 will give me 2. And now I can multiply straight across. 1 by 1, give me 1 over 3 by 2, give me 6. So 1/6 will be your answer. And it is a positive, like we found here. The same signs will give me a positive answer. Next, let's look at when you're multiplying an integer by a fraction. So we're going to go ahead and turn these integers into fractions. Now, to turn them into fractions, I can simply put these over 1, put the whole numbers over 1. The reason why is because you haven't done anything to change this. 2 divided by 1 is still 2. 4 divided by 1 is still 4. So it's just another way of representing 4, but the value itself does not change. These are both positive, so positive multiplied by a positive will give you a positive, right? Let's look back at what was from the beginning. So I have 2 positives, which will give me a positive. And I can either multiply across and then simplify, or multiply diagonally so I can cross cancel. So 1 and 3 do not have any factors in common, whereas 2 and 4 do. They have the GCF between 2 and 4 is 2. So 2 divided by 2 gives me 1. 4 divided by 2 gives me 2. Now I can multiply across. 1 multiplied by 3 gives me 3 over 1 times 2 will give me 2. So your answer is 3/2. Let's go ahead and do that over here. This is a negative. This is a positive. So my different signs, right? Different signs right here will give me a negative. Multiply straight across. 1 times 4 gives me 4. 5 times 1 is 5. You notice I didn't check diagonally, only because I could see that nothing was going to simplify. 5 and 4, right, do not have any factors in common besides 1. And 1 and 1 don't have any in common besides 1. So -4/5 would be my answer here. If you need help on that, again, go ahead and just take your time, pause it, rewatch it, or just call me over and I can help you. And the last type that we are going to look at is multiplying mixed numbers. After that, we can get started on the first part of your assignment. So all right, I have 2 mixed numbers. I'm going to suggest following your steps on that second page that says, let's turn these mixed numbers into an improper fraction. So if we don't remember how to do that, I have, you take your whole number, multiply it by its denominator, the denominator of the fraction, and then simply add the numerator. So these 2 right here get multiplied, which should give us 9. And then you're going to add this piece right here. So this will be 9 plus 1, 10. And then you're going to keep the denominator I already had over 3. Multiplied by we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to go ahead and multiply those two, which would give us 10. Then you're going to go ahead and add the numerator there, plus 1. So it'll be 11 over 2. Now we can check to see if anything will cross cancel. 11 and 3, no. 10 and 2 will. They're both even. Their GCF is 2. 2 divided by 2 is going to be 1. 10 cut in half is 5. Now I can go ahead and multiply across. 11 times 5 would be 55 over 3 times 1 would be 3. Now you could switch this back to a mixed number. I'll say just leave it as an improper fraction. Right. And they were both positive, so our answer is positive. All right, that's it for this lesson. We're going to go ahead and try our first part, the first part of our assignment, and we'll come back tomorrow or a different day with more notes, right, to finish the rest of this section. If you need help, just go ahead and call me over.